Hello, everyone. This is Khalid Saleh. Thank you for joining us.
All right, so a couple of notes before we begin. There's a piece of exciting news is that we're going to be releasing our A/B testing software soon, so we definitely want everybody to be on the lookout for that. Second piece of news is that Khalid has a couple of conferences that he's going to be keynoting at, and we definitely want to let you know about them so that if you're in the area or just following up to see where Khalid is going to be next.
Yes, so I'm actually going to be keynoting at a couple of conferences. So the Dubai, this is my first time speaking at the UAE, United Arab Emirates, sort of interesting. So I'm going to be speaking at that on March 9th. And I'm also going to be keynoting, speaking actually at the E-Marketing Association. That's going to be end of April in San Francisco. So a couple of exciting. Those are two new conferences to me. I usually speak at the SMX, PopCon, at tech conferences. So this is sort of new, especially the Dubai conference. So it'll be interesting. A different market, a different audience, definitely.
Excellent. Just a piece of housekeeping is that the recording of the webinar will be available on our website this coming Monday. So also, if you've missed anything or if any of the attendees come late, we'll also remind you at the end of the recording that this will be available on Monday. So just quickly, if you would like to join the conversation, we definitely encourage that. Just tweet us at Invesp and use the hashtag CRO. And if you have questions, concerns, comments about the presentation, then certainly that's a great way to reach us.
Very good, excellent. So I thought since this is just the beginning of the year, we thought we'll do a different type of webinar. Thus the title of the webinar today. I think everybody agrees that this year is going to be tremendously different than the previous years. Of course, we just hit the 20 years milestone in terms of the age of e-commerce since the very first recorded transaction online. So who would believe? I mean, it just sounds like yesterday when e-commerce started. And I can't believe, that 1995 is 20 years ago. But, I guess it's about getting older. Now, what's interesting is if you've been following the news, if you live in the US, you saw the huge drop in oil prices. And of course, this has a direct impact on non-discretionary spending for individual. People have a lot more money to spend, which means that they will be doing a lot more shopping. Now that gives you, if you are an e-commerce website, if you are doing anything on the web, people have a lot more money, even if you're doing B2B, because ultimately somebody there, an actual consumer, is willing to spend more money. So your potential customers, your potential clients will have more money to spend. The US online retail sales will grow by 57% by 2018, excellent number. And in this year, online retail sales are expected to be around 13%, grow by 13%, 13.8%. Of course, in Europe, the situation is even better, where online retail sales are expected to grow by 18%. Now, what you need to see with the oil prices falling down, with people spending a lot more money, with the expected growth, you need to see a huge opportunity. And that means that you need to get your house in order. I know many of our clients, many of the customers that we've worked with in the last 2-3 years, they've had a very rough time. The economy was shrinking. Mr. Google had some really interesting updates in the last couple of years. They've hit people very hard. And really, we saw some of our customers with their sales dwindling. However, for the last 6 months, things have been on the uptick. So now, since it's the new year, it's a chance to make a new year resolution. And hopefully you've already done that. Focus on your business again. Push it again, because the opportunity is there. So one thing that we've done at Invesp is we sat down and we created our new strategy, and we usually do that at the beginning of the year, our new strategy for 2015. And what we thought it would be very interesting to do is to share some of that strategy, the strategizing that we did with you guys, kind of like the different steps that we do. And this is, by the way, also something that we do with some of our customers at a much more detailed level when we're creating a new marketing strategy, a synchronization matrix for them. Who is your target markets? What's the messaging? How do you get to them? It's a fairly complex process. Hopefully, we'll walk you through some of that today, give you some ideas to start thinking about, and you can take some of that. I mean, it's always great when you hear it, but you really can sit down, spend 2-3 days implementing it on your business and seeing the impact that it will have on your bottom line and on your business. Now, one of the very first things that you want to do is to examine your offer. Now, there are too many companies try to be too many things for too many customers. And I can understand that. Now, if you look at some of the larger companies, if you're looking at the GEs of the world, and if you're looking at the Amazons of the world, yes, we understand that they offer everything and then they try to capture more and more business. But if you are, especially kind of in the small business area to the mid-size, it really varies. And when we say small, by the way, the definition of small, perhaps, if you look at the standard definition, they're less than a thousand employees. They're making less than $50 million. Well, by many, $50 million is like kind of a larger business than many people think. So many companies are pushed into the area of really trying to offer many things because they are limited by revenue, and they're thinking the more services, the more products we offer, the more revenue that we can generate. I want to give you a couple of examples. Look at Constant Contact and look at Aweber. So these are both two services that we use at Invest for our email lists. We have about 7,000, 8,000 contacts on each of those lists. What's interesting to me is just the different approach that these companies take. Aweber, very focused on email marketing. It's an email platform. They've went on enhancing their product as opposed to try and add other things. So as you see, it's all about, okay, so how do you maintain your contact list? How you best send them an email list? But if you compare that to Constant Contact, so they're doing email, they're doing social campaigns, they're doing EventSpot, they're doing surveys. Ayat, your thoughts on all the stuff that Constant Contact is trying to do?
I think, of course, they're doing so many different things, and they're not focusing on, the one issue that could be really setting them apart in the market. So I think that's where it's key, is that when you're offering something and that you're unique in that area, you should focus on it, especially if you're a smaller business.
And I completely agree. I mean, we've been using Constant Contact, I think, almost for the last 10 years, actually, since we've started the company. And maybe it's me, but I don't know, perhaps one of their kind of loyal customers. But I would never think of using them for, events or surveys. I mean, we use other services. And what's funny is the services, for example, for surveys, we use SurveyMonkey. We've been also with SurveyMonkey for so many years. I can't even remember when we've been with SurveyMonkey. And I don't think of switching to Constant Contact. SurveyMonkey is excellent. They specialize in that area. I like them. In all honesty, I haven't even given Constant Contact a chance. And this is perhaps a challenge that they have, but I just feel that they're all over the place. They're trying to do too many things. And at the end, what they are best known for, to me, is their email marketing service. Do I really care for their surveys or their events? No. I just need you to do email, but do email really well. That's what matters to me the most. Now, one thing that you want to consider and think about as you are expanding, do you want to add new products or do you want to add new features to existing products? I firmly believe, and this is focus on one thing and one thing only, and throw away everything else. Be very well known for one thing. I think that really will make a huge difference. And I'll give an example from Invest. When we first started, now we're actually on our 10th year. When we first started, we were trying to do many things for, in terms of online marketing. And we had the staff to do all these different things. And I recall a conversation myself and Ayat had where we said, it's time to focus on one thing. What are we best known for? What do clients come to us for? And it was conversion optimization. Now, that was a difficult conversation because now you're switching. So you're no longer doing social media optimization. You're no longer doing, we're doing dabbling in SEO. We said, let's drop all of that and let's focus on conversion optimization. And we actually took a revenue hit initially. However, I think 6-7 months, about 10 months into it, that's when we got more and more business. We actually perhaps went a little deeper, and I'm not sure if that's that's something that we can reflect on now, where we said we're not going to even do conversion optimization for everybody. We're only going to do conversion optimization for e-commerce companies. And we've done that for a while, where we said, it's only strictly e-commerce companies. Now we've moved on and we've expanded. So we did not add other products, i.e. SEO, social media, but we said, we're going to add other features. So we're doing CRO, conversion optimization for for lead generation, for e-commerce, for content type websites. Now, some of the questions that you want to ask yourself as you're examining your offer, and you really need to spend, and this is because there are certain things that are just difficult to people to let go of. Why would I let go of something that's generating revenue for me? So ask yourself some of these questions. Which of the different things that you're offering make you really stand out from your competitors? Is it a particular product line? Is it a particular service that you are offering? And which of your offering does your market need the most? Now, you might find out that, I have this one product line that is really amazing and no one else, it makes me stand out from the competition. However, the market doesn't need it. So, those are the type of questions that you need to be very honest and kind of examine your market. You can conduct surveys. You can call up existing customers. You can call up, past customers to get them to answer some of these questions for you. Which of your offering do you have the best in-house talent to service? That's a very also important question, because I might consider that, this particular offering is excellent. However, I don't have the staff. I always have to outsource it. So it's almost difficult to focus on. Or it might be, this is the one offer that I have and I don't have the best staff for, but that means I need to hire. So all these questions will get you thinking about your offer and your staffing and how do you position yourself. Now, something else that you want to think about is your target market. And for us at Invest, we talk about personas quite a bit when we're doing conversion optimization work. But I'm gonna kind of and personas are very helpful when you are doing actual conversion optimization. But let's focus a little bit more and let's talk about just target market. The success of any marketing strategy relies a great deal on the ability of the marketing strategists to identify the company's target market. You need to think, not everybody out there is a potential customer. And I know for smaller companies, sometimes they struggle with this, but really the more you think about it, you want to figure out exactly what's the ideal client, who is the client that I can service the best, and who are the client who will appreciate my services the most. So you need to kind of change your mindset about your target market. This is something that we've learned also the hard way in the last 10 years, by the way, and we're being very frank and very transparent here. Customers that generate the least revenue for your business, especially if you're in professional services, if you're doing B2B, sometimes even in B2C, they require many times the most work. So you want to look at the profitability of the different types of customers that you've had. Which customers really stayed with you the longest? What was their average, the average sales volume with them? How much time they've invested in you? You invested in them. Now, defining your target market very clearly will help you in specific things. It helps you defining the product features. So, for example, let's say you are creating a product and your target market is, let's say, older men above 60, let's say. So that will require you, when you're designing that product, to think about specific product features that will meet people who are not necessarily technically savvy. Versus if you're creating a product that you will sell to college students, well, they're a lot more technically savvy. Just the way they deal with the product is tremendously different. Your messaging to that particular target market is very important. That will vary based on different target markets. And also, when I define my target market really well, that would help me identify the channels. How do I find that particular target market or get to that particular target market in the best way? Now, we'll give you a couple of examples of target markets. So let's say you're a B2B company, a business-to-business company. Your target market contains small businesses and mid-sized businesses. Or let's take another example of B2C company, and your target market includes both college-age students, ages 18 to 24, as well as parents of college-age students. Do you consider these well-defined target markets? Ayat, your thoughts, especially the first one? I mean, we see quite a bit of examples of
Yeah,
this.
I think you need to hone in on a little bit more on what you mean by small businesses and mid-sized businesses. What are the requirements? What are you looking for when you're considering these particular businesses? Because, just saying small business, any mid-sized business is very broad, and that contains so many different types of businesses. So you just want to make sure that you hone in and you think about your customers specifically. What are their needs? What kind of company is that, the makeup of that, particular market, so that you can really target them with the messaging and with the features and all of this a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, so you want to think about geography. You want to think, if you're in B2B, you want to think about geography. You want to think about sales. You want to think about identifying features that will really make you understand who exactly is the best company that you sell to. If you're targeting e-commerce websites, well, e-commerce websites, there are literally hundreds of thousands of e-commerce websites out there. Or if you're targeting college students, well, there's also tens of millions of college students. But when you start honing in and really zooming and trying to identify the features for your target market, that will help you tremendously really reach that target market really well. Something else that we perhaps learned. So let's speak about the B2B space. When you're in the B2B space, sometimes you identify the target market very well. However, you also need to identify who you are selling to within the target market. I might be selling to, let's say, online companies that are generating $5 to $10 million in revenue, that are located in the northwest of the U.S., that rank for specific terms. If I want to even get really, really fancy schmancy with it. However, who are you selling to within those companies? Are you selling to the CTO? Are you selling to the CEO? Are you selling to the marketing directors? You want to think through that, because that also varies. Events, channels that each one of these different C-level positions go to are tremendously different by the nature of their job. We'll give you an example from the Amazon Kindle. Now, a very interesting experiment. Amazon Kindle released, of course, several versions, and now you have the Kindle Fire. But I recall when they released back in 2007, their first release, they used what they call a launch and learn approach, where they put the tool out there, they put the Kindle out there, and they just said, okay, let's just watch the market and how people react to it. So it was more of a blanket launch. They did not really specify. The marketing team said, we don't know. They put it out there, and in 6 months, they came back and they said, well, okay, so now we're going to the second release. Now we need to be a lot more specific, the second Amazon Kindle second generation. So they thought, okay, well, now we need to be a bit more specific, because now we're talking about product features and how do we make this product the best product as an e-reader. And at that point in time, if you guys recall, there were attempts at e-readers before the Kindle came out, but really they never caught on. So what they've said is, okay, well, we need to focus on younger demographic. So younger demographic, they have a flair for technology. Their ability to use the device and interact with it is a lot higher than older demographic. They expected them to be a bit more educated. So most likely they've done some college. People who earned enough money to spend or to buy to be able to afford a device like this. And I recall, I think the first devices that came out were more than $250 actually. Can't believe now they're selling close to $120, and they have even a much better feature set. Now, when they identified the market, and there's quite a few case studies about the Amazon Kindle. The Kellogg Business School did really a nice detailed case study about this. they said, what, college students are excellent. They love to catch on to some new gadgets, new technical gadgets. Mobile business professionals, those who are moving, and I recall I was working at that point. Actually, we were just starting investment at that point, and was traveling between different client sites, and I got the Kindle, so it made a perfect gift when I'm on the airplane. Instead of having to carry books, well, here's the small thing. It was a bit novel, and I still actually think have my that first generation Kindle. Yes. And the other thing they identified is avid readers, and the more they were able to identify their target market and how they reached that target market, the better off the marketing of the software was. Again, if you have any questions, by the way, you can tweet at us at Invesp. Ayat and some of the guys, some of the team are looking at the Twitter feed. You can use the hashtag CRO. Let's continue. So in identifying your target market, you want to ask yourself the following questions. Which of the businesses, the customers, benefited the most of your services, of your products? You want to ask which ones appreciated your services the most. That's a very important question because benefiting from your service and appreciating it are completely two different things. I recall one customer that we've had signed up for conversion optimization, website conversion optimization. First month, we delivered close to 30 or 35% uplift in conversions for him after we've done the A/B testing. Came to us, called us and said, what? I think Ayat and the team, Ayat, you were running that project, very excited. Everybody's really happy. I mean, when you do 35% uplift from the first month, you don't get that. Usually, you're aiming for 5 to 10%. When you hit something like that, it's like, wow, we've done it. We've killed it from the first month. Watch what's going to happen over the next 12, 24 months. So the client calls us up and he says, thank you guys, I appreciate everything. I'd like to cancel. And I was just shocked. Cancel? We've just done 35%. It was just an amazing result. So I got on the phone call with him and I said, sure, if you'd like to cancel, we will never hold somebody who doesn't want to stay with us. But I told him, can you please explain to me? We thought that we're doing well. Did somebody do something wrong? Did somebody say something wrong? And he said, no, perfect. Everything is great. Love it. However, I was expecting a 65% uplift from the very first month. And I just sat there. I'm like, 65%? I had to ask. I'm sorry. Did any of our sales staff throughout the sales process promise you a 65% uplift in conversion? Because we're very careful about setting expectations. And he said, no, you guys have done an excellent job setting my expectations. You told me it's going to take a while. You told me it's a long-term commitment. However, I was hoping for a 65% uplift from the very first month. So I just really had to laugh. I'm like, okay, well, I can't really control what you expect. If I try to do my best, kind of discussing expectations, set expectations, so that's a customer who really benefited the most from our services, however, did not appreciate the 35% uplift and its impact. I'll give another example from a customer where we'd done a category page test for them. Saw a 30%, I think, uplift on that test. And he came and said, love the test results. However, we're going back to the old design. And we're like, why? Why would you use a design that generates 30% less money for you? And he said, I know, I just love my old design, And again, you can't really do a whole lot. And somebody is married to their old design. They're going to stick with it, even if it generates less revenue. Many times when I tell this story, people just find it very strange. However, you deal with many cases like these. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You have all sorts of customers. They're attached to their designs, they're attached to their company the way that it is. It's difficult for them to actually move away from that. So certainly, that's something that you always face when you have customers, but it's important to identify, these types of customers. Usually, for us, at least at Invest, we know that they have specific criteria. They fall within a specific criteria. There may be a smaller type of a business. They, generate less revenue than some of our other customers that are a lot easier to deal with. So it really just depends.
Now, something else you want to think about, which of your customers required the most effort from you and which ones generated the most revenue? All these are very important questions. And the goal is, as you examine your business, and start thinking about your target market. This helps you identify who is best, who is your ideal candidates, and that helps you identify your target market in a much better way. You want to ask questions such as the average lifetime value of a customer for you, the average lifetime value for a customer, two different things. Somebody sticks with me on average about 8 months, and during that period they generate, 70, 80, 200,000, maybe just $50. So it varies. All these are very important questions because they also start telling you how much money you're willing to invest in getting that customer. How much money are you willing to do to keep that particular customer? And that's the last thing that you want to think about, your customer acquisition cost. What does it take to keep a customer? What does it take to get a new customer? All these are very important questions you want to think about. You want to think about within the existing customer base, which ones stayed with you the longest, the shorter, what's the difference between the two? All these are very important questions. They require some examination. They might most likely require you to sit down with your staff and ask these questions, have an actual discussion. You will see its fruits and its impact on your business. Now we have also a special offer over here. Ayat, if you want to take it from here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a special offer for people that are attending the webinar. If you send us an email at lisa.ross@invesp.com, we will be giving 3 books. So just send us your email, let us know that you've attended the webinar and that you're interested in the offer. The first 3 emails that we receive will receive a free copy of your book. Please don't forget to include your address in the email.
Now, there is a catch to this, by the way. We're giving away those 3 free copies of our Amazon.com best-selling book, Conversion Optimization, The Art and Science of Converting Prospects into Customers. This is my book, so I'm not supposed to praise it, but we've done quite a bit of work. And I think when you read it, you will see just the case studies, the analysis that went into it. However, the catch for those 3, we want you, if you read the book and you like it, we want a positive review on Amazon.com, a positive, honest review on Amazon.com. So the first 3 emails will get a free copy of our book on conversion optimization. So we've thought about updating the book and coming out with a second edition. We just need to find the time to do this.
But we'll certainly let you guys know if that does happen.
That doesn't sound very committed from Ayat. So very good. So we'll move on. So to the next stage that you want to think about is the messaging. We've talked about the products, we've talked about the target markets, and now we want to talk about the messaging that I'm taking to that particular target market. You want to focus on the customer when you're creating your messaging. It's not about you, it's about your customer. And that's very typical. We say that in marketing all the time. The challenge is in implementing it. Lots of people say it, lots of even marketing professionals, unfortunately, I find, talk about the customer, but when it comes to actually implementing, they actually forget about the customer and they start talking about their business. And messaging is about what you want to communicate to your customers, but more importantly, it is what is most important to the customer when they are thinking about your products or service.
That's one thing that we always talk about with our customers is, put yourself in your customer's shoes so that they and see your site from their lens rather than seeing it from your perspective, because that will give you a lot of insight into what can change and what can be improved and so on.
So I want to give you an example. This is an actual example that one of the customers that we've worked with in the past, the B2C company, they sold books. Their target market is college-age students, 18 to 24, as well as parents of those college-age students. 2 completely different segments, by the way. Somebody who has a kid in college, they're probably at 18 to 24. We're thinking that they're in their 50s and 60s, sometimes. So between trying to market to the parents who are 50 to 60 years old versus to the college-age students, 18 to 24, 2 different segments, and you're trying to sell them books. So the single most important message for both segments could be that by using our website, you save money. Everybody appreciates that at 60 or at 18 or 24. You might appreciate it in different ways, but everybody appreciates saving money. However, the messaging for the college students is not only do you save money by using our website, but you'll also save time. So because the college students otherwise will have to go out and look and search for the books, and he might find them at the local bookstore or the co-ed or the co-op, sorry. So it's a lot easier to use the website, so you'll save time and money. And you see now the importance of how different target markets require us to have different messaging. Sometimes it's the same messaging for different segments. Sometimes it's a little different, more fine-tuned for different each of your segments.
Another example could be, for example, think of a jewelry store that's selling jewelry. Okay, I'm a woman looking for a ring. I have, different expectations, different messaging is going to attract me. But then just say my husband's actually going to search for a ring. Certainly the type of messaging that my husband's going to be reading is very different than what's going to attract him, and what's going to motivate him and persuade him to make a purchase is very different than what's going to motivate and persuade me. So that's a really good example.
I just look for something within the budget, very quick. That looks nice. That's it. That's the messaging. Yeah. That's the type of messaging when I'm going to a jewelry store, in all honesty. I don't do a lot more than that. So, very good. So we'll continue on messaging. So you want to consider the following question as you are crafting your message. And again, we're talking about 2015, refocusing your marketing effort, coming up with a new strategy, really rocking it this year. So you want to think about all these questions as you're creating your messaging. What is the single most important message that you must communicate to all of your target audiences, regardless to what they are? What is it? The one thing that you want them to be known for them. And please, just stay away from the standard messaging that we're the best at what we do, we're the cheapest, because if you can make the claim, most likely about 99% your competitors can make the same claim. So you want to rethink through that and really come up with something very specific to your business that you want to be known for. Now, for each segment in your target market, what is the specific most important message that you want to communicate? Now we're going from overall message to everybody to specific messages to the target market. What's the most important message I want to communicate to the parents who are 60 to 70 years old versus the college age students 18 to 24? What do I want to communicate to them? What evidence? Also, this is very important. You can communicate a message, but adding evidence to support that message, that will make it resonate tremendously well with your particular target market, because everybody can make claims. However, when you support that claim with evidence, when you say, give me an example, Ayat, if you can think of an example over here. Nothing? Yeah, nothing is coming to Ayat. I'll give an example from Invest. So we say, we're the best at conversion optimization. I'm just giving a general example. However, when I add that we've done 400 plus conversion optimization projects, we have 45 years combined CRO experience in-house, we have the Amazon best-selling book, all these things, when I'm talking to a prospect, they are really resonating with him. That makes us stand out really from our competitors. So for you want to think about, okay, what do I want to communicate to my customer? What's the message that I want to communicate where my other competitors will just stand there and wouldn't know what to say? Because yes, what you have to offer is unique and is different and is very important to your customer. Now, in terms of the right channel, this is next. So we determined at this point the product, we've talked about the target market, we've talked about the messaging. Now, I need to determine the right channels to get to my customers. Now, you need to find the channels to communicate your message to each segment in your target market. Companies spend thousands and thousands of dollars on different channels without doing regular evaluations of these channels. If you are B2B, lots of times your target market is CEOs, CTOs, maybe it's just other professionals. And what we find out with lots of B2B clients is they have a tough time figuring out how to best reach their target market. So they just create a tremendous amount of content and they just throw it out there and they just hope something would stick. And unfortunately, that lack of discipline, that just create and throw out there, sometimes it hits, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it translates into tens of thousands of lost revenue. I'll give you an example from Invest. We used to go to conferences thinking that, okay, well, we will go to conferences, we'll rent these booths, spend tens of thousands of dollars on these different conferences, thinking that we're going to reach our target audience. However, we discovered that we're going to conferences that our actual target audience were not attending. So we were feeling good about them. We use fancy words to justify where we're going. Well, it's for branding reasons. Well, no, let's focus on the right conference that's attended by the right target market that will generate the most revenue for us. Now, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Does my particular target market or does my particular market segment use this particular channel regularly? That's a very key word, because if they use it, once in a while, it's not a very good channel. How easy is it to track customer acquisition from this channel? If you can't track it, I don't like it. You want to be able to track it, because that helps you really justify the spend that you have on a particular channel. What's the acquisition cost per customer for that particular channel? All these different things will help you identify our next item, the right budget. In marketing, you need to allocate anywhere between 10 to 30% of your budget should be allocated to your marketing effort. Now, is there a secret formula for this? No. If you're already stable, if you're not in a very competitive space, you want to allocate about 10%. If you are in a tough industry, if you are trying to grow this year, 30% sounds very aggressive, but that is the right way to go about doing this. So how aggressive you are with your marketing budget depends on the nature of your markets, your financial situation. And if you're struggling, I understand you can't allocate 30, 40%, but think, marketing is a long-term commitment. It's what keeps on bringing people through the door. And also depends on what your competition is doing. This is very, very important that you want to think about. If your competitor is spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring in new business, that's going to impact you. So you need to be very aware of that. And that leads us to, and we're getting closer to the end of the webinar. Again, if you want to tweet at us at Invest, the hashtag is CRO. And next point that we want to talk about is your competitors. Assess your competitors. Competitors, especially in a crowded marketplace, will have a direct impact on your business. Now let's talk about conversion optimization and competitors. We recall we're working with one customer. We've done some really nice work for them. We were thinking that's going to increase their conversion rates. And then there's some specific things that you look at the website and you say, low-hanging fruit, I can hit this really quickly. I can generate great impact for my customer. And nothing was happening. And we were just looking at it and I'm like, this is very, very strange. Why is it that people coming to the website, checking out their product pages, but never adding, items to their cart? And we thought about this for a while. Well, it was explained because one of their competitors was running a huge, massive discount. So people were doing just, product price comparison, and they're finding out that their competitor is selling the products at 20, 30% less. So of course they lost business. So that's the reason you want to keep very close eye on your competitors and what they are doing with their business. You want to figure out your top 3 to 5 competitors. Ask, when we're talking about online, you want to ask, how do you organically rank compared to these competitors? How do you differ from these competitors? How does the competitor differ from you? 2 different ways. And you want to ask if the competitor is a price leader. That will have an impact on you, especially if you are in a B2C market. And where is the competitor most present in your market space? So all these different questions will help you identify the competitor who might be presenting a threat to your business. Here's a quick grid. This comes from the moz.org. It's just to get you going. So you want to put your company there, your different competitors, and then you start comparing the size, the products, the features, the price points, affiliate programs, the advocates, the influencers. All these things will get you really to think a lot better about your competitors and the competitive landscape that you operate in. Now, all of this will help you create an amazing marketing plan. A marketing plan like this should be plotted at least in an Excel sheet where you have the different channels, the different target markets that you're trying to reach. You plot them by week, if not by day. You need to track your marketing plans on daily, if not weekly basis. Here's a rule that we also use at Invest quite a bit. Tasks spanning more than 5 days are simply not acceptable. Basically, when I see something more than 8 hours, When I see something that has 5 days, 10 days, it tells me that the team doesn't really know. We always break tasks at 8-hour intervals. It helps our project managers track tasks very carefully, and it helps us really identify where we are in the different processes. And if you just take one thing away from this webinar, is about project tracking. Use 8 hours intervals. Never accept anything more than 8 hours. If somebody tells you that something's going to take 3 days, tell them, you know what, break it down to me. Tell me what you're going to do in the first day, second day, third day. These are different milestones. That will help you tremendously in 2015. Create a synchronization matrix. That's the matrix that we talked about. So you have the different activities, the different channels, the different customers, a huge, massive Excel sheet that tells you every week what you're going to be doing. Well, I'm going to be guest posting. I'm going to be speaking at conferences. I'm going to be featuring a book. I'm going to be doing a webinar. I'm going to be running a promotion. I'm going to be running, PPC campaign. So you plot all of that, and each one of those activities has specific messaging, has specific target market that is going for. And you see over here, so we do the date, the target market, and the channel, and the specific message. With that, this webinar comes to an end.
And please join us in a couple of weeks. We will be having our next webinar, Optimizing Website Navigation, and that will be actually given by me, and that's going to be on February 19th, 2015. So please join us. We will send you reminders periodically, but if you do have any questions regarding any of the information that you heard today, please send us a note and we will address that.
Again, so just to remind you of the special offer, Lisa will check her email, see the first 3 people who emailed us will get a free copy of our book on conversion optimization. Like I said, you like the book. If you benefit from the book, we want you to leave us a positive review on Amazon, positive but honest review on Amazon.com. We're going to try and bring these webinars every couple of weeks. We're going to be focused a lot more on conversion optimization, lots and lots of case studies that we're going to be sharing lots of knowledge with you throughout the year. So every couple of weeks, we're going to be doing one of these webinars. I think this one has some amazing case studies. An amazing case study. Ayat is going to be sharing something very, very fresh from the press, something that she's conducted, talking about optimizing the website navigation, its impact. And when you see a actual case study, that will help you really apply that to your website. So we look forward to seeing you. We hope that you benefited from this webinar. If you have any feedback, you can tweet us at Invest. Any thoughts? You can also email Lisa. You can tweet. You can tweet at me at Khalid, KHALIDH. You can tweet at me. Share your thoughts, and until then, we'll talk to you soon.